Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in the grind, no escape from me. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see I'm just a poor boy, scraping by minimum wage. Born in the shadows of the city lights, concrete cradle under endless nights. Daddy worked 2 jobs, mama prayed for rain. Bills like chains rattling around my brain. But I read the books when the wolves were at the door. Charts and candles on the bedroom floor. Stocks in the morning, real estate at noon. Silver and gold under the harvest moon. Sweat on my collar, fire in my veins. Every dollar saved was breaking free from the pain. They said play it safe, boy, stay in line. Clock in, clock out till the end of time. But the system's a cage with a velvet disguise, promising heaven while it steals your life. Rise from the ashes I built my throne. Turn pennies to empires of my own. Stocks and stones, bricks of gold, silver rivers in the stories I told. I broke the wheel, I broke the road, golden chains, no more. Golden chains, no more. I sold my fear for a pocket full of grit. Learned the hard math, made the numbers fit. While they were laughing, I was making my move. Every red defeat had something left to prove. Late night hunger and a borrowed chair, 1 cracked lamp and 1,000 stairs. I watched the weak hands fold.
Ladies and gentlemen, are we here? We're here. Okay. I hope you guys don't mind. I cut off the intro video music right there for a second because, well, first off, I want to get started. I want to get going. I'm excited. The TFT, Anti-Egypt, thanks for being here. The Hollywood Troy, S. Troy. What's going on? Metalheads, how's it going? How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Action breeds success. Enjoy that coin show. Maybe if you're on the road, buddy, if you're on the road, maybe we can give you some good audio listening today. I think this will be probably a very helpful video for you, unless you're going for something specific to kind of like gauge what you should and shouldn't buy. Emerald Coast Stacker, what's up, my friend? Welcome back. Good to see you. Investable Collectibles, thanks for hanging out here. All right, so here's the premise of what's going to happen here. It's a little bit of a different video. I'm not a huge reaction video type guy, but I want to do this because this video that I'm about to show you from the Vault and Company is very raw and honest, and I think that it's coming from the perspective of what a coin dealer or a coin shop is buying collections and what's going through their head of how they're going to buy stuff from the public and their mentality of like how they'll relist it and what pricing they're going to put at it and why. And he goes into a lot of good detail. But the point of this is not for me to just kind of listen to what he says and kind of be like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. No, the point of this is because I think this gives you a freaking lens into what you as a retail normal customer like you and what we should be thinking when we are purchasing precious metals or coin collectibles and things like that. He basically tells you what you should be seeking and what kind of pricing you should be paying and stuff like that. As the retail side, he also tells you how you can get rid of your collection and ways that you can start doing that. So anyway, I found this to be so engaging. I watched it at 2x speed today. I hope you guys understand. Like I'm gonna probably have it on at 1.5 times speed, but I will stop throughout and I will kind of just like reiterate my understanding from this. And I want to hear what you guys think when y'all hear what he says. But he's under the 65 Walker. I'd buy it for 150. By the way, he undervalues the 65 Walker. I'd buy it for 150 from them. Well, we'll talk about that. Obviously, like I buy and collect Walkers every day. But and I'm also going to break down some of the comments too, because some of the comments I think are a little bit telling. And I'm going to just put it out there. I might say some things that in some ways might offend some people that are in our community, that make YouTube content, that do podcasts, that run shows, that do events, that sell coins and stuff to other members of the community. I might offend some of them. And I'm not doing it to be offensive. I'm doing it to caution people so that, you know, we don't become the greater fool in somebody else's greater fool theory, right? We're not the liquidity for somebody else's garbage, so to speak. And I'm going to get into some of the comments, because some of the comments to me are really telling. They're telling to... Anyway, let's just leave it at that. I don't want to I don't want to spoil my own party here. But again, bear with me. We're going to take our time through this. It's a 39-minute video. We may not watch all 39 minutes of it. We might. I don't know. But I'm going to break it down. Obviously, go to the Vault and Company. I'll put a link in the description. Let me get actually, while I'm here, let me go ahead and get a link just to put it pinned here, so that if you want to go back and check out the video later, if you haven't, that's the video there. And I might be able to go ahead and throw it up into the title here as well, just to make sure, because this is a great video. And, you know, really, he's got the 20 years of experience in the industry that I don't. But I try to explain this stuff to people all the time, from my perspective as a buyer and seller and just market kind of like analysis. And he does a really good job of just breaking it down. The comments show bias from each side very bluntly. Exactly, TFD. And again, members in our own community are some of the people that, you know, it is what it is. All right, here we go. Ready?
Subscribe. Let's get into it. Hey guys, good to see you. I'm going to do an unusually
let me make sure the audio levels are good for everybody. You guys hear what he's actually saying.
Longer video today, and I just thought it'd be interesting if you saw the behind the scenes in my head about how I look at a coin collection, a larger than usual coin collection. Like, how do I dissect it? How do I break it apart? A lot of people come to coin dealers or coin stores, and they've printed out an Excel spreadsheet. They've looked up every single wheat penny, its condition, what they feel it's worth. They've coin snapped it. And I realize that not every coin dealer is like me. Maybe I'm normal, maybe I'm not. You can be the judge. But I'm going to be honest with you about what's going on in my head after 20.
Real quick, what he's saying is, like, he doesn't, you know, he's basically saying, like, I don't know if I'm normal, if maybe I'm too strict, maybe I'm too loose. He doesn't know, right? Because he doesn't go out and shop every single coin dealer, but he does have friends, obviously, that are coin dealers, as he alludes to later in the video. So it's kind of the open-ended question as we watch this is, like, what do you guys think in your community? Like, is he representative of what coin shops are in a generality? Obviously, there's always outliers on all sides, but, like, overall, while we're watching this, do you guys believe that he is a good representation of what coin shops think? If you drive a Toyota, you're honest. Jesus. All right.
Years, 4 different stores, and a very successful business. You know, how do I buy? What's my buying philosophy? What do I think about this product when it comes across the table? And we've got quite a bit of ground to cover, but I'm going to be blunt. And so I'm going to show you how it is and what I think about it. So
real quick, the funniest thing about that, the Hollywood story, real quick, our story. Funny thing about that is, I think if you look into it, I think Toyota is more produced in America with American labor and American parts and American raw materials than a lot of foreign cars. But anyway, sorry, get back to this. Let's get back to this.
This first setup here, you know, and I haven't seen most of this. One of my employees went through it, you know, 1965. So I know that this is 40% silver. Okay, so I'm not even going to look at it. It's just going to be categorized to the side as the 40% silver
sets,
pile.
Guys. Just doesn't even
silver. Now this one is not. This one's probably straight.
How much over are you
but
paying
when I see sets like this, and most, you know,
or,
coin dealers have been around a while, they're going to look at this,
sites.
and if they'll even take it, they're going to be at $1 over the face value. So in my head, I'm sitting here like $3, you know, and if anybody wants to call me up and give me $5 for it, done. You know, like, as many of these as you want. I know there's a lot of whatnotters out there, so it might be good for you. And that's...
All right, real quick. I'm gonna hit on this a lot. Did you guys pick up what he just said? He said, I know there's a lot of whatnotters out there. This might be good for you. Can you guys please just take a second and read between the lines with that? Read between the lines with what he just said. I know there's a lot of whatnotters out there. This might be good for you. Yeah, we'll get into that in more in just a second. Why would this low priced stuff that he's not even wanting to even deal with be good for whatnotters?
that's kind of why I'm going through this with you and telling you in my head. If you're on one of those whatnot streams and you're bidding the set up to $15 and $20, don't be surprised when you take it one day to a coin store and you're not getting over $5 in value for it. You know, if they'll take it at all, 2, 3,
I mean, he
buck or
just
two
called
over
it out
value.
right
That's what
there.
all
I
this
think that's
is.
why a lot
And
of
on
people
this,
got
we're looking
offended
at
in
the
the
melt value.
comments.
Yes, I understand there's a small date set, or there's like a 1979 or something
Basically,
like that.
these are junk.
That's the exception. You know, we'll look at that, but 99% of this stuff is going to be slightly over melt, slightly over face value, and that is it. And so I've got a checklist, and I'm going on the side, and I'm counting up the units, and I'm looking at it from that perspective. Now, this is a little bit different. This is a little bit earlier in an original holder, the 57. I don't think it's fully complete because there should be a white little sleeve in here. But this is a little bit better than normal. Some of these sets do bring a couple dollar premium, but that is all. Basic mint sets, again, just slightly over face. Yes, again, there is that 2015 one of these sets that's worth more. These are, I'm talking about in generalization.
So basically, I mean, this part is pretty easy to summarize, but it's like these are barely over their face value because they're packaged nicely or something, and you know they're proofs. Or these are barely over their melt value. So essentially, but when you go to buy them when they're brand new, you're paying significantly over face value and significantly over melt value. And like he said, if you're one of the suckers who is emotionally bidding on one of these and you're getting, you know, you're in a bidding war with somebody, bidding it up to $10, $15, $20, he's basically like, don't be surprised when you only get $5 when you go to return it, you know, or turn it in and sell it. And the reason he's saying like these are good for whatnot streamers, right? He's saying because you can buy basically cheap junk and flip it to somebody who is going to be emotionally captivated in your show and is going to be anxious and excited to get that 1 minute auction and bid it really quickly because they really want it or they don't have this set. He's like, you're basically preying on those people with these types of items, and hey, it works out. You know, he even says he has his own whatnot show because he understands like there's always a fool out there, there's always a sucker out there that's willing to overpay for something that you can sell it to, but if you want to sell it to people that are in the know, you're not going to get the value you expect from it, basically. So just remember that when you're buying stuff.
When we're looking at this stuff, silver proof sets. I cannot tell you how many of these. I looked at one of the major coin buyers right now. Melt on this was like $95.
I might skip the proof part here because he just basically keeps summarizing this.
I like to use Coinflation. It's a real easy site to go to. I'm giving you some valuable information.
Cool. Yep.
Coinflation.com, silver coin values, and I can go right to the proof sets, and it tells me that the proof sets are $85. Okay,
Hey, good luck,
$85.
Action.
Major wholesale dealers are paying $70 and $72 for this. So if you just have one of these and you go on eBay and you go into a coin store and say, Brian, I saw this selling for $119.99 on eBay, you're right. You have one coin collection that you have to get rid of. You can put it up on eBay. You can wait a week, a year for somebody to give you $120 for this. You do the shipping, you pay the fees, you're going to net $100. But at a coin store with 6 employees and $100,000 worth of product coming and going every single week, we don't have time to concentrate on every single little unit. So it becomes time, the time value of your money.
Yeah, I'll say real quick, this is one part of the video where I kind of disagree with him. Like, I'll be honest, like, I don't care about your overhead. I don't care about your choices on how you run your business and how many people you staff and how much collections you buy or don't buy or what your rent is or what your electricity is. Like, for me, I don't give two shits about that stuff. I really don't. And people often use that as a justification for lowballing people and then overcharging for people. For me, that's all BS. Everybody has overhead. Like, my time to categorize my own inventory, I might make more money per year than you, right? Does that mean that my time is more valuable and therefore the hour that I spent coming to your shop, you should pay me more for it? Then, like, right, it goes both ways, right? Maybe that hour or two that I go to your shop, I could be making, you know, $50,000. Well, are you going to compensate me for my time? No. Like, so at this point, I don't care what he's saying about that. I disagree with him about that. But, you know, he brings up, you know, coinflation, and he brings up a good point about like how a lot of people value their collections though by what the average sale price is on an eBay auction or a heritage auction or what they see it listed at on PCGS's website. Well, that's not reality. Like that's reality. Like he says, if you want to just flip one item and you're willing to wait a month for it to sell, and you're willing to pay the 12 to 15% fees and the, you know, the $5 to $10 shipping, he's like, you're going to end up netting what I'm going to pay you anyway, you know, or just a little bit more, but you're going to go through all that effort. Whereas he's saying that he doesn't have time to do that. Well, he would make time if he thought it was worth it. What he's really saying is that it's not worth it to him. He would rather just sell these off to a wholesaler or get them melted or something. You know, that's what he's really saying.
So we're going to burn in turn. So we're going to be paying something like them. You know, if the major bullion houses are only paying $70 a piece for these, then we're only going to be at 65, 70 as well. We have to take all the market risk. You have one coin collection you have to get rid of. I have $40,000 worth that I have to get rid of, and I need to get rid of it in the next couple of days. So I don't have the luxury of putting up every single piece, waiting, comping, and everything is top dollar. In my mind,
I don't care about its overhead.
I would imagine most coin dealers' minds, it's how liquid is this? How fast can we move it? And what's its bottom dollar raw value? So yeah, you're looking at, you know, $60, $70 a unit for stuff like this, and that's under melt. Okay, I can't tell you how many of these we have ripped apart, thrown into a change jar, and gotten rid of. And so all of this whole thing, this whole box, okay?
All right, so he speeds
this
through
is all
this pretty
stuff
soon
that I
here.
would
We
sell
should
you
be able to.
at slightly over face value. You're talking about a couple dollars over face value. All you have to do is beat the wholesalers. Do you want this at melt? $85. Call me up. It's yours. $85. Okay, because you're beating some of the bigger.
Okay, right there. He said, if you want this for $85, call me up. It's yours at $85. I mean, that's the truth right there. But then look what happens right after this.
Boys, they're only going to pay $70. I got to get rid of all these. I'll make you a great deal on the whole box. Okay, so that's what's going on in our head when we see all this stuff. Unless you got a giant Whatnot stream, which we do. It's the Vault & Co., right? Okay, so it's the Vault & Co. on Whatnot, and some of this product might find its way there. Because, frankly, the Real Coin Guy Facebook group, we can't put on more than 10 items a day on the Real Coin Guy Facebook group. How do I move 100 products in a day? I'm going to have to be forced to go to Whatnot.
All right, right there. I'm just sorry. Like, I just want you guys to pay attention to that. He's now said this 3 or 4 times, or 2 or 3 times at this point, but he keeps saying, basically, unless you got a Whatnot stream, and you're going to hear this throughout the video. And I just want you, again, I'm not trying to say Whatnot is a bad site or you shouldn't buy from them. The thing about Whatnot that he keeps, that the reason why it's a great place for this is because you're creating an environment that is emotionally adrenaline driven, where people are in fast-paced auctions. They don't really have the greatest time to look up things and find comparative values and to, you know, it's all like, it's taking advantage of people's, what is it called when you emotionally buy something, spontaneous buying or whatever it's called, splurging, whatever. Like, it's taking advantage of that kind of feeling of people. It's giving them the feeling of missing out because the auctions go so quick. It's in and out, and you got to make a decision instantly, and you swipe your finger, and you add $2 or $3, and like, again, I'm not saying it's like evil and malicious. I'm just saying it's taking advantage of like extreme marketing measures to suck people in, and oftentimes the people I think that enjoy purchasing from Whatnot the most are people that are more prone to addiction and gambling, and like I can't tell you how many times people will be like, I won this auction, and they're all excited, but they overpaid by like 3 or 4x, right? What it's valued at, that they could have like just literally gone on eBay and clicked buy it now for half the price that they paid, but they're excited because they're in the environment, they're in the room, they support the auctioneer, like they're, you get my point. Like, again, I'm not saying that it's bad or evil. I'm just saying that like it is an environment that is designed, literally designed around impulse buying, emotional play, and anyway, that's all I'm trying to say about it. And he brings it up so many times. Just be aware of that. Like, have your max bids, know what things are worth before you bid. Set your max bids. Just there's ways that you can go about it, comfortably, but yeah, that's all. That's all I'm trying to say. It's a caution.
This stuff's even worse. Okay, this is
or
all
spend less
pure
on gas
junk
going to the
Minster
LCS. There
stuff.
you go. I like it.
It is face value at best, a buck or two over. That's what I would sell it all to you for. Get rid of it. Get it out of my face.
He's like,
that's
if
how
you
I feel about it when it comes in the door.
Just come in. So now you guys know.
You guys
know that, right?
$15 and $20 a piece for this stuff.
Listen to what he's saying.
You
if you go to a coin shop and you do want to buy a proof set,
all right, a little bit more interesting
and
material.
They've got it listed
We've got
at
this
double.
lens. That's what we.
Real quick, if you go to a coin shop and you see these proof sets, these common date proof sets, listen to what he's saying, guys. He's basically saying, I will take $1 or $2 over spot or over face value. So if you go to a coin shop and they have these listed for 2 times face value, just make the offer. Just make the offer and say, hey, I'll give you a couple bucks over face and I'll buy 5 of these. If that's what you want to do. Like if you need them for your collection or something like that. I don't think you should even buy them, to be honest, but everybody likes different things, right?
Call it when it doesn't have the box. We call it a lens, all right? And it's a cameo. And something like this is 40% silver. It's not on the top of my wish list. It doesn't have its original box. I'm sure that $44 is a fair price to ask for it. But a lot of times when we're going to look at this stuff, they're very, very common. The fact that it's rated by NGC is the only thing that helps, but a lot of them are proof 68.
What's up, Serbs? What's up, Pangs?
Because
What's up,
they're still in
Roadkill?
those sealed white pieces of plastic. And something like this, in a proof, I'll be looking at my charts here. Okay, and so it's got $20 worth of silver in it. Okay, If I could get $30 for that, that would be gone. And
Okay, real quick, just note right there. This part's important. This part's very important because he drops a lot of key information here that you got to pick up on. Listen to the words that he's using. Common date. It's just in a white box, right? It's common date. It's just in a white box. It doesn't have the original box, right? And so he does take the time to look up the melt value, and then he says, okay, throw a $10, 50% premium on it because it is like, that NGC certified item, and it's a proof, right? So gotta pick up on this stuff. We gotta read between the lines. Certified, graded, proof or something like that's not even graded. But he wrecks Ikes, and I want you guys to explain to me, why does he wreck Eisenhower's? Okay, in this next clip. All right.
Part fee. So how much am I going to pay for it? Okay, we're going to be at 15. Again, yeah, if you got one of these to sell, you can get $30. You could maybe even get $44 for it. But you have 1,000 that you have to sell today, and another 1,000 you have to sell tomorrow. That changes your thought process when you're sitting in my shoes, and you have to then take the risk of 1,000 items going up and down. I remember when silver was at 119, and then 3 days later it dropped down to the 80s. You were very happy selling to me at the $80, $90 an ounce then, because I got stuck holding the bag. Silver proof set, same thing. All right.
A little bit
Clad
of animosity right there in that
I'm not
part,
a big fan of Eisenhower. Raise your hand if you're a huge Eisenhower clad dollar fan, because you can call me and I will virtually give these things away to you. Yeah, $25. One of them is $90. I would cut that price in half. I would do $45. I'm not super thrilled when I see Ikes in a 65. There's plenty of Ikes out there in a 65, and then they throw them in an NGC holder. It doesn't rock my world. It's very common stuff. It's perfect for like a whatnot stream. So when I'm looking at something like this, I would not be paying much.
Why is it
$5,
perfect
maybe
for a
$10?
whatnot
It looks like we
stream?
paid at least $10 a piece for them, but we're asking 20. But we got to sell it. That's why I'm here talking to you about it very rawly on screen. $15, $20 a piece. That is where we would be on stuff like that. That one's silver, so that one's a little bit better. But look, they're not uncommon. I just happen to have half a dozen of them sitting here. More of them. So somebody either won a collection. No, they're all 74S's. 73 S's. So
they're all the
this
same
looks like something that
dates.
somebody won out of a show. But if you bring us in, you're going to try and
They're
dump
all
it
the
to somebody.
same
They're not
grade.
going to pay you full grade sheet for this. This is never going to happen. Maybe you'll get the $20 a piece for it if they need the product, but I don't generally need the product. All right, now these are your bread and butter. We like to see.
All right, real quick. So, did you guys pick up on all the little details, right? Common dates, common date, and not a high enough grade to make them valuable or even worth. Like, let's be honest, they were not even a high enough grade because these are a more modern coin. More modern coins have less circulation because they weren't used as much. Therefore, there are more of them in population that are of a higher grade. I've tried to explain this on some of my live streams where I break down pop reports of all these different coins and why I buy like certain ones. And I'm not perfect. Like, I'm still making mistakes and learning, but you guys catch his point, right? He's saying these are common dates. These are common grades. There's nothing special about them. Yes, they're in a slab, but like, he's basically like, who cares? Like, it doesn't add that much value to it. Now, remember, the only one that he pulled aside that he even had to stop to think about was the MS66, which 66, to 70, and it's still a pretty modern coin. So it's like you said, it's $45 instead of 90 or whatever they had listed. Now, if you were to get into 70 or 69, now that's going to be something that will stop this guy and make him actually like stop and look up relative value and market value and figure out a better price because he knows that one is special. So key dates, right? You get what he's saying on that stuff. You got to pay attention to like the in-betweens. Silver Fox Stacker, what's going on? Stack for life, how you doing? This guy will spend $20,000 gold coin shaped like a bell from the U.S. Mint. Meanwhile, this same guy will spend, we'll talk about that another time. Just again, mintage numbers, yes, but like the problem pinning with modern coins, like let's just be real. Anything modern is not going to have any circulation at all. Therefore, if you're going to buy a graded modern coin of anything, whether it's gold, silver, clad, it doesn't matter. It should be 70 or proof 70 or MS 70. That's it. Anything below that, basically you have a freaking factory reject because these were never meant to be, circulated. That's for modern. This kind of stuff, like these at least were circulated some, so like they're not all going to be 70, but there's going to be enough of them that are well above the 65 range that a 65 becomes a standard thing. You have to look at population reports. You have to look at the charts. You have to see how many were minted because modern mintages are like tens of millions versus hundreds of thousands in the older days. So Sucks that aren't that collectible. I like them. It's not that they're like not collectible. They're just the collectability of them doesn't bring a lot of value, right? All right, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling. And again, if you're just tuning in and you never watched the channel before, I don't normally do this kind of crap. I just was really captivated by this guy's video, and not just like on his perception of as a coin dealer purchasing stuff from people. I want to talk about it as what you as a retail consumer can now take to your LCS or things that when you're shopping for, silver, graded coins, whatever, you need to have these things in your mind when you're shopping, and just understand when you're getting milked for a premium that you shouldn't be paying.
Stuff like this. This is definitely something worth more investing in.
He likes the variety and the...
These ICG holders, I don't mind them. They bring a little bit less than the PCGS holders. This is the new generation for ICG. I like ICG. I don't care about the acronym. I can't grade, blah, 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 blah. You know what? For $15, $18 to have it certified, the new guy that took over was a former NGC grader. They've done a lot to increase their reliability, and they're a lot stricter. This is what the new holders look like. And they're comparable to a lot of the other grading services right now.
They still demand less of a premium.
If you're in my world, in the professional coin dealer world, every single time we get together for a convention.
All right, I'm gonna stop it again. I'm trying not to stop too much, but out of respect for his video, I don't want to like completely not like add my own commentary for like fair use type stuff. But this part is a contradiction. Okay, guys, listen to what he's saying here. He just basically said that he doesn't care for the acronym I can't grade for ICG, which is funny. He says that now, but we're gonna catch him in a little bit saying something different. So he's basically saying the new ICG slabs are looking better. They're doing a better job of shoring up their services. The guy who runs ICG now used to be an NGC grader, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to catch him in a contradiction of his own making in just a little bit here, guys, because right now he's basically saying like it makes no difference if it's PCG or ICG. Like there's just a little bit of a difference, but we'll catch him.
All they ever do is bitch about how NGC, PCGS, and CAC are having a lot of problems with the grading services and how the reliability of the coins going in are not on par. So let's just add ICG to the mix. None of these guys are perfect. Remember, we buy the coin.
None of them are perfect. I agree. And he just said right there, buy the
common
coin,
date
not
stuff,
the plastic.
Min State 62, Min State 63, common dates.
You guys see
you're looking at $45 across the board on coins like this. And then we got to wait and hope that you want to give me $80. But realistically, I think wholesale on these are like $65 a piece, $75 a piece.
All right, so again, common
that's
dates,
what's going on in my
grades,
head. So if you come in the door and you've got everything itemized down, I'm not your guy. You get to take the time to try and sell every single one of these one at a time, according to what your red book sells. And I hope you got a really loud microphone and a lot of viewers, because your local coin store is not going to be paying you.
He just said it again, guys. He just said it again. He said, I hope you have a really loud microphone and a lot of viewers. He's referring to auction type sites. That's a direct reference to Whatnot. A loud microphone basically means that you can convince a lot of people with your words that you're a very auditory person. You're able to draw a crowd, and you're able to bring them in, and you're able to get them excited, and you're able to get them bidding, you're able to get them on there. I mean, he's talking about you guys, again, I'm not saying anything is bad. I'm just saying that things are built in a way for consumerism, and people get sucked in, and they make dumb purchases, and he keeps talking about it like these things suck unless you have a way to flip them to the greater fool, okay? And I don't want you guys to be the greater fool, man.
CPG prices. They're not even going to pay gray sheet on a common date in the 62. There's millions of them. What do we need them for?
There's millions of them.
1 ounce rounds.
What are we needing it
for?
for?
Canadian.
Exactly.
80% silver. Okay? That's foreign silver. I'm going to be below melt. I'm going to be about 75% of melt on foreign silver because I don't have anybody that ever comes in the door and says, I want a Canadian silver dollar. Okay? It's just that easy. They're not going to come in the door and say, I want a Canadian silver dollar. Here's a raw 1879 Morgan, so you're looking at about $40 or something like that.
About the foreign silver, he will buy foreign silver. If it were, Mexican Libertads, I guarantee you he ain't going to be having that same conversation because those things are in such high demand right now, and they kind of control their mintage pretty well, but Libertads are like probably the most popular silver coin right now that exists. I don't know if it's a round or a coin, honestly, but it's made from the Mexican mint, but it's not denominated. Anyway.
And every day, God help me, there is some sweet old lady that comes in and she says, I looked this up and it's $400. It's not. I'll gladly sell it to you for $65.
What's up, investor?
That's just how it is. It's not graded, it's not certified, it's a raw, and it doesn't rock my world. I don't even know. A couple bucks on it, something like that. Buffalo nickels. Wholesale on Buffalo nickels, I want to say right now, full date Buffalo nickels, I think it's about 75 cents a piece.
I mean, guy doesn't even care about Buffalo nickels at all.
And most of us don't even take the time to search them. We might flip open the front of the roll to see if there's full horns or something like that, and if not, we're done. It's better just put that in an auction as an unsearched roll, which I do all the time, because I'm not going to get in.
He said you don't trust anybody who wears a pinky ring. I'll be honest. I don't wear any jewelry at all. I'm just looking around at this guy's wrists and fingers and stuff like that. And I would, the thing that comes to my mind is, again, no, I don't know this guy from anybody else. So I'm not trying to talk bad about this guy particularly. But when I see this level of jewelry, my gut instinct is that he's got to be able to afford that jewelry somehow, and he's probably making that by offering low and selling high. I mean, you don't get this amount of jewelry for no reason.
To it. More Canadian silver dollars. This is a flat rate, $10, $15 a piece type of stuff.
He did not care about buffalo nickels at all. I mean, I don't want anybody to get scammed, but honestly, you could go buy a whole bunch of like modern clad nickels, from what I'm hearing, and then just put like 2 buffalo nickels on each end and sell them to this guy as buffalo nickel rolls. I mean, I'm not saying anybody should ever do that. I'm just saying, like, when he says that they don't even search these rolls and he just basically, offloads them at whatever a piece. I mean, I probably wouldn't have said that out loud in public, to be honest. But anyway,
over what's left of a prestige set, so that's barely above a mint set.
Barely above a mint set.
That's what's in my head when I'm looking at this stuff. I'm looking at $40, $50 units, $10, $15 units.
So far, again, quick recap, even on graded stuff,
$10,
like,
$15 a piece on this type of stuff. On these rolls, you're paying maybe $20 a roll, and you're moving on.
Especially if it's not
I'm
in
done.
a higher
We're done
grade.
with all these coins. We're not going through your whole list.
We're not going
you get
through
the
your whole
coins that
list.
are like 1883 Carson City Mint State 65. Now I got to take the time in a PCGS. I got to take the time to now go to the gray sheet.
Oh, look,
at 80%,
real quick,
mid, 85%.
did you catch it? He said in a PCGS. He clarified himself. He basically said if you've got the Carson City, 1883 Carson City in an MS65, like, okay, he goes basically like, I've got to look it up, and then he goes in a PCGS. Just remember which slabs he's talking about, because earlier he just said that all the slabs are the same, pretty much. Anyway,
At 90% tops, if it's got some color or some beauty to it, it needs to be a nicer, more desirable, rarer coin. You can't just be
nicer, more desirable, rarer coin. Nicer means like
that stuff
better grade,
nobody's going to drive across
better
the state
looking
to come
coin
here
inside
and
the
look
holder.
at a common 20 piece dollar in Mint State 63. That's every day, all day, everywhere.
Yeah,
all over
MS63,
Facebook,
blah blah
Marketplace,
blah. Like, again, these lower grades, just they understand that
this
like,
is the
they're
places
not
where you
going to
can really
fetch
get yourself into some hurt. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do the same thing as all the rest of them.
If you're
Like I
still
said,
here,
I'm going to be brutally honest. Okay? When
Servants,
you go
close
into
your
a
eyes,
coin
close your
store
ears.
and you sell this type of stuff, you're going to get melt. Okay? And the guy that sold it to me is a regular customer. He was very happy about getting melt for it. So you're getting $65 a piece, and then the retail price tag on these are $175. The reason the retail price tag is $175 is because one of these sell a month. So we have to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for the right person to come in and buy this. We have to take all the risk of the intrinsic value of it going down. But if the price of silver is 20 or the price of silver is 100, the price on this is still $175. We're selling the Star Wars, name and theme on stuff like this. And we've got Disney, we've got Mickey Mouse, we've got Cinderella, we've got Fender guitar, we've got Harry Potter. They hawk every name they can and throw it onto this bullion. And if you're paying this type of high dollar, God bless you, that's fine. You're my once a month customer. Just realize when you go to trade it in, you're just going to get silver. I've never had a person come in and say, no, I've got to get more. It's not liquid like that. There's no category where I can go to a major wholesaler and say, will you buy 25 Star Wars today? Will you buy 25 Fender guitars today? No, they won't. They will. Number one, there's not even a category for it. And number two, they probably treat it as an unpackaged miscellaneous. So they're going to be paying $3 behind melt. So guess where we're paying? We're going to be at melt or $3 behind melt. And this is the perfect stuff for me to put on a wheel and whatnot. It's one of those grand prizes. That's where all this came.
Perfect for me to put on one of those wheels on whatnot. We're still talking about how they can hawk crap to people on whatnot. I mean, you guys see and hear this now, right?
From somebody bid $20 a spot on 50 spots, and this is one of the grand prizes, and he won this stuff. So
$20 a spot on 50 spots. That's $1,000. So basically what he's saying is he sells 50 spots on a wheel at $20 a person to win a coin that he paid for spot value of the metal that is market valued probably double. And he uses that as a suck you in gamble mechanic to have you pay $20, because in your mind you're gonna be paying $20 for a shot to win something that on the market is say valued at $150. You guys following what I'm saying? This guy's just being honest with you, and you guys need to understand it's not this guy doing it. It's not just this guy doing it, everybody. It's a lot of people doing it. Some people that we know doing this kind of stuff.
that's what's going on. So in my head, when you're bringing this stuff in, $55, $55, $55, $60, $60, $60. That's what's in my head, $60. Engelhard, real cool piece. Ooh, platinum. And we paid up for it. We paid $1,500 for it. And this was before the price of platinum dropped to $1,700. So on that, there's not as much margin. So if we can get full spot for it, we are going to make $200. Again, we take all the risk. This has been sitting here for several days.
I don't care about your
risk. I've been
risk.
around so long that this could...
Again, me as a consumer, I don't care about your freaking risk, dude. Like, am I supposed to be empathetic towards your risk taking because you're buying something from me for below its value? No. I take a risk too when I purchase it from you at your store, right? Like, are you going to give me a discount? Are you going to give me a discount because I'm taking a risk purchasing something from your store because the price of the metal could go down, or its pop culture influence could go down? Like, no. Like, you don't care about my risk. Why do I care about your risk? Anyway.
I could be underwater on this next week. So I'm not going to apologize for spending $1,500 to make an 8% profit margin. Okay? Got the wrong guy. Beautiful piece. Paid $150 for it, asking $275. Okay? Brutally honest. There's 1-2 guys out there that'll pay full price for it, but there's, for every 2 guys out there that will actually pay up for a piece like this, 90% of people will say, I'll give you spot. They want to be just like me, without the overhead. So it's a beautiful piece, but it's not like it's a rim, it's not like it's a made-up piece.
I don't care about your overhead.
Okay, regular piece solder probably
nobody should care about your
$50 or
overhead.
something like that. Geiger silver, it's still just silver, guys. It's nothing super
Geiger
special.
silver is still just silver. I just want, like, real quick right there. Geiger silver, it's still just silver. I know people out there that are buying Geiger copper. Okay, I'm not gonna name names. But I know people out there that are playing the Geiger copper market, and they're buying Geiger copper and they're selling it to somebody else, a month later for more money, and they're making money. I'm not saying you can't make money, but just at some point you have to kind of think about I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Spots are dumb on whatnot. Silver serpents. I mean, I know. Look, I know.
These are the worst. These like made up figurines, Reagans and George Bushes and whoever this cowboy is, or Theodore Roosevelt's 1 ounce silver round.
Whoever
There's
this
nothing special
cowboy
about it.
is.
Okay, modern caps, right? No box, no paper. Another Canadian.
Excuse me, sorry for
below
cussing.
melt. A lot of people don't like Chinese. I can tell you that right now. A lot of people don't.
My man, whoever this cowboy is with an image of Teddy Roosevelt.
Don't like Chinese. They do not sell fast. So when my customers come in the door, this is the last item that is going to move, and we're going to be about $4 or $5 behind spot. Engelhard minor. Engelhard miners, they used to bring a premium. They used to be on par with an American Silver Eagle. Now they're basically another silver round. A lot of people got tired of getting burned. Silver went through the roof. There were people in my office yelling and screaming because we wouldn't pay them full price when silver was at 119. That's because half the refiners in the country had shut down and they wouldn't buy it from us at all. And they were paying 15% behind spot if we wanted to unload it on them. But somehow that didn't get through the general public. We're the bad
All right, so
guys. We took all the heat. And that's cool.
Okay, hold on. This part, like, you can hear there's some pent-up animosity here. Let's listen to this again. There's some pent-up animosity, and he showed it earlier. He showed it earlier when he was talking about, like, you don't mind me holding the bag when silver was at $90, and then, like, listen to it again. Again, I'm not trying to pick this guy apart. There are some things I absolutely agree with him with, and there's a lot of takeaways, I think, from this video. There are some things that I think we gotta call BS on. Why are there bolt cutters back there by the window? Anybody else notice that? Anyway, let's go.
Refiners in the country had shut down. They wouldn't buy it from us at all, and they were paying 15% behind spot if we wanted to unload it on them. But somehow that didn't get through the general public. We're the bad guys. We took all the heat, and that's cool.
We're the bad guys. We took all the heat. That's cool, man. That is like, no offense, sir, but that is some 8-year-old little girl stuff going on right there in your head. The reason you took the heat is because when silver was at 70, you were probably paying 60, 63, and you were probably selling it at 75. So you were okay accepting a large premium as prices were going up. Yet you, for some reason, feel like because you can purchase larger quantities from the general public and you have some overhead, that's your comeuppance. And so when other people wanted to sell to you and you were offering, 20% or 25% below market, below spot value, sorry, not even market, they were offended. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit of give and take here, and there's a little bit of personal responsibility that you could probably take yourself. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
100-gram fine silver. That's just going to be melt.
Exactly,
cool
servants.
Okay? I can tell you right now, people will pay
to
a lot
peer-to-peer,
for a piece of silver with a skull, with boobs, with a car. If we shape the silver into a weird form, suddenly it brings 50% more. But let me tell you, when you recycle it and you turn it back in, it's still just silver.
So that's for all of our melts and
Same
stuff.
thing.
Basically, he's saying
silver.
for
That's a
melts
cool
to
piece.
him, it's just it
These
is
are
what it
perfect
is.
again
It's just the
for
silver,
whatnot shows,
which is what you should think of
somebody
when you're
in the bidding is
buying
going
it.
to frenzy, and they're going to pay $110, $120 for a piece like this. Just remember though that you're going to lose half your money when you go around and turn it and sell it. You know, I get always scared about packaging like this. Kind of like the rule of thumb is that the more the packaging and the ooh la la of the coin, the more you're probably getting screwed. Okay, the guy that sold us this coin collection here with all these mint state proof, he bought this collection something like 15 years ago, and he still paid 2 times the retail price 15 years ago than what it is now. I think he was paying something like $7,000.
The more you're probably getting screwed.
He went to one of
like
these
that.
online website type places or late night show places, and you know the research. I'm telling you how it is. So the research is there. You can go on YouTube and watch a guy like me be really honest about it, or you can go get burned when you go to actually send it in yourself. That is a 1 ounce silver round. There's nothing special about it, but trust me, it's going to bring double because it's Monopoly. Okay, somebody just wants a Monopoly. Here's a cool, you know, reverse proof season greetings. Once again, perfect for whatnot. Right around Christmas brings double. Half ounce silver rounds. The same thing. All this stuff is melt. A wishbone. Freaking cool.
I got to stop it again. I'm just gonna keep saying it. If people are gonna hate me for it, I guess, but. He says, perfect for whatnot. Right around Christmas, you can get double for it. Why can you get double for it? Because you're going to find some emotional, excited, uninformed buyer who's going to have that impulse reaction to an auction popping up, and they're going to go, ooh, it's Christmas. Ooh, I can make a present out of this. Ooh, it's shiny silver. And they're just going to keep clicking bid till they win it. They're going to bid it all the way up, well over its worth. When you could have just gone on eBay and bought one for, 30% less on buy it now. But they take advantage of your impulse to drive up prices on you. And that's the whole way it's built. And he keeps bringing it up as the good place to sell this because you'll get a lot more value for it if you have the time to build an audience and do it that way.
Right? Somebody will pay up for a wishbone. Melt. Lucky horseshoe. Melt.
I don't want to be the fool or the sucker that is buying up other people's garbage for twice its value. That's all. I just don't want to be that person.
You know, spot plus $3. That's what we sell it for, by the way. Okay? Spot plus $3 on this weird shape here. This one I would probably ask for $5 over spot. But this is perfect again for my whatnot wheel because there I'll make $100. And when that guy gets desperate one day and wants to sell it, it's going to go down to 65, 60.
Do you guys need me to run that one back? Should I run that one back? Should we run that one back? I think we should run this one back. What do you guys think? Let's run this one back and let's listen to it again, what he just said.
$3 on this weird shape here. This one I would probably ask for $5 over spot. But this is perfect again for my whatnot wheel because there I'll make $100. And when that guy gets desperate one day and wants to sell it, it's going to go down to 65, 60. Spot.
He literally, bro, just literally says, I will sell it as a spot on my whatnot wheel, making a lot more money for it, knowing full well that when that sucker goes to sell it, he's going to get absolutely hosed. Interesting. I mean, I have a conscience. I don't know about you guys. I have a conscience. And like, that would not sit well with me. Like, I would feel shamed for a long time if I did stuff like that.
Spot, final eternal justice, whatever, 1 ounce round. That's cool. Limited edition MK bars 3. I bet this thing is $400 somewhere right now.
But I guess it's just business. It's gonna be $118. It's just business on all whatnot, right? Huh?
So again, you're turning it in, and in the dealer's head, he's counting everything up, and he is saying 50, 55, 60 bucks. Unless he's just slow, unless this is a retired person that this is the only collection he's going to buy for this month, and he's just doing it for the fun of having a cup of coffee and going to the flea market. Our overhead here is thousands of dollars a day between our marketing and our payroll. Again. So, we're going to have to make a profit margin. And
between marketing and payroll, like I don't care how you run your business, dude. I don't care the choices you make to run your business. It's got nothing to do with me. Be fair or don't be fair, and people can take their business elsewhere, dude. Like. Anyway.
You heard me spewing from the mouth. Our profit margin is somewhere between 20 and 30%. That's wholesale. If I want to pull the trigger on this and just melt this stuff, I'm going to be at about 15 to 20%. But if I take the time,
so he's still making 15% if he sells this to melters, which means to me that he's buying this stuff really cheap. Somebody up there, Roadkill, somebody says not all LCSs are like this. Like mine's really nice. I will say that like I would imagine that if you spend a ton of your money at one specific LCS and you actually build a friendship or not, I mean, let's be honest, they're not ever your friend. They're still a business. But if you build a little bit more of a customer, you know, patron relationship with them, they will probably be a little bit more generous with you than they would somebody walking in from the general public, or Aunt Susie passed away and this is her collection. You know, we're trying to get as much money as we can for it. Right. That kind of stuff. Like I agree with you, but you know, most people that aren't a consistent, you know, patron of an establishment they're going to get probably some kind of treatment similar to this. And this might make him look bad in a lot of ways, but I think also it's a little bit telling. It's a little bit of good information for a retail consumer of how to parse through the BS and kind of like just stick with, you know, reality of pricing.
So many times that I'm here till 2 o'clock in the morning, that I'm here till 10 o'clock at night. I put in 80 and 100-hour weeks, number one, because I get paid well to do it, but two, I love what I'm doing. It is very interesting for me to research and look all this stuff up. But it took me 5 years to build a real Coin Guy Facebook group with my father to 10,000 members. So when I put this on here, I'll get a premium.
How hard it took you to build your Facebook group. Maybe it took me 5 seconds. Maybe it took you 10 years. Maybe there's a reason it took you 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
This is cool. Okay, this has got a little bit of toning, a little bit of skin. It's in an annex holder. Some of these are great for upgrades, so I'll slow down. I'll take my time on this. I'm going to pay closer to $55.60 when it comes to stuff like this. Something like that, the same thing, $55.60. There is a dealer's portal that we can look, and we know that we're going to get $68 to $73 a piece. Anything slabbed in an NGC holder or PCGS or CAC, we get a guaranteed rate of 68 or 73 or 77.
So NGC, PCG, or CAC. Notice that he said NGC, PCG, or CAC.
Stay a while and listen.
You can basically offload them. So what happens is like the dealer portal, basically you can just sell everything instantly at like not like a guaranteed price, but there's like, it's like the gray sheet, you know, dealer portal. And it shows you what the current like valuation of the real valuation, as in like you can just sell these things to these people for this, you know, big like wholesale price. That's what he's talking about here. But notice he said NGC, PCG, and CAC. He did not say Annex or ICG. But earlier he was talking about how ICG was basically on par with these other grading companies because they all have issues and none of them are perfect. Well,
I can't remember up to 82 in the 64. It's like this cookie cutter price, no matter what it is. So we generally will pat ourselves about $10 for every single coin, and that's it. That's how it really works. You know, you go look it up. Yeah, it's $125. Great, go sell it yourself. Get your $125. You know, you're not going to get all that because there's going to be fees.
Perthment
so you're really only
nice,
get 110 and do all the work yourself, and that's how you're going to get top dollar. But you're not going to get it when you're coming into a coin store. You know,
I do agree with that. Like that is reality, though. You're not going to get top dollar.
Cool piece. Okay,
for a whole
we paid
collection.
up for it. We paid well over $200 to get it, and under $3. Okay, and I think on that one we're asking $375. So paid $300 to get a $75 profit margin. Min-state 63, 61s. I hate that score. 61 is such a chicken crap score. You know, it's just. I hate it. I'd rather have a lot of guys would rather have an AU 58 than a 61, 62, 60, but there they are. So 63.
I don't agree with that. I don't know that many people would rather have an AU 58 than an MS 62. That sounds like absolute BS to me because they're clearly nicer coins in the higher grades, like on a consistent scale basis. The 62 is significantly nicer than a 58 if you look at like the qualifying marks and the definitions of those. So I disagree with that completely. However, pay attention to this part. He's dropping some hints on you guys that are like me that buy constitutional coinage and that you're looking for grades. Go back and watch some of my videos where I talk about population reports. I talk about mintages, and you look at the lower mintages and you look at the population reports, you know, and you want to see, okay, this coin has, you know, 2,000 in the MS66. It has 5,000 in MS65. And it has 50 in MS67, right? Like you see stuff like that. Well, you know right away that like if you have a 66 or a 67 in that situation, that's a special coin. That really is a special coin. So don't let somebody like this tell you it's not. What he's saying though is those coins where there's 20,000 that are graded MS62 or there's 50,000 at MS62. What he's saying is like those aren't special enough. Those are the same as like a raw coin basically. With maybe I'll give you a couple bucks extra. But notice like he started to take his time a little bit more on these graded coins of these older coins that are a little bit harder to grade and a little bit more key date era. You're starting to see a little bit of difference. What's going on, North Star, everybody? If I didn't say hi to you, I appreciate you being here. We're breaking down this video because there's some good, there's some bad, There's some I think genuine like takeaways, and I think there's some BS, and we're trying to just parse it through. I'm trying to parse it through with you guys hanging out with me, and just let me know what you guys think too.
63. This stuff is going to go into piles, and I'm going to look it up and see, all right, what are the wholesale major places paying right now? Are they giving me $70 a piece? I can put these all into a category, and I can click a button and move 30 of them at a time. That's why I like coins more than sports cards, because you can't do that with sports cards. You can't just
I can
say,
click
I
a
want to
button
sell
and move
18
30 of them
Michael
at a time.
Jordans to the same person.
That's selling with that wholesale
But,
portal
some
that
of my
we
coin
talked
buddies,
about
they'll take
earlier.
everything here, no problem. These are cool. I'm hoping that these are Carson Cities. Again, I haven't looked at this collection. My guys did all this. I'm just kind of reviewing it for you.
Sober, what's
Cool.
up, bud?
All right, so this is a little bit more interesting. A lot of people like these Carson City hordes. Wholesale on this one is $295. Okay, so we probably paid $250 for it. Wholesale dealers will give you $295. It's been $295 for more years than I can count, and we're asking full retail at $455. Doesn't mean that I'm going to stick with that number. Most of the time, I don't.
Okay, I just again I want to bring this up because this is information for you to take as a consumer. All right, let's listen to this again about how he breaks down this really nice Carson City. I think this is a really nice coin personally, but yeah, whatever.
That these are Carson Cities. Again, I haven't looked at this collection. My guys did all this. I'm just kind of reviewing it for you. Cool. All right, so this is a little bit more interesting. A lot of people like these Carson City hordes. Wholesale on this one is $295. Okay, so we probably paid $250 for it. Wholesale dealers will give you $295. It's been $295 for more years than I can count, and we're asking full retail at $455.
All right, wholesale $295. They paid $250 for it, which is what, 15% below wholesale. So they paid 15% below wholesale. He marked it at full retail of $455. Okay, so he marked it at full retail at $455. Okay,
doesn't mean that I'm going to stick with that number. Most of the time, I don't. Will I let them go at about $350 a piece? Sure. No problem.
Okay, so he let them go at $350 a piece. So let's think about this, okay? He paid $250 for something that he could sell to wholesalers at $295, meaning like he could literally click a button and get rid of it $295. So he's guaranteed himself that that margin right there out of the bag, which is fine. I mean, whatever. He then lists it at full market price at $455, and he's willing to accept $350. $350 out of $455 is what, guys? About 25% off the top, right? So I'm just doing math quickly in my head, so correct me if I'm wrong, but so he's saying that he would be willing to accept 25% back of his marked price. So just think about this when you guys are buying from retail shops. You know, maybe there's some wiggle room, negotiating power, more so than you think. Maybe you should like learn the gray sheets if you're dealing in these types of things, and get the gray sheet and know what they're paying, know what the gray sheet wholesale price is, know what they have it marked, and find some wiggle room in the middle. Again, just pay attention. Pay attention. Think about how you can benefit from this information.
This is a great one for a show.
Great one for a show.
When we did our first video. This is the Redfield collection. There was a multimillionaire who hid like millions of coins or something like that in the wall. You know, it's just cool. It's a little bit different than your normal Morgan. It was usually a higher grade. That one actually has some nice PL looking surfaces to it. With a little bit of toning. That one's really pretty. And we paid up for it. You know, like, we're a professional coin shop, so we didn't tell the guy when he came in $50 for a coin like that. We didn't tell him $50 a piece on the Carson City. We take the time to look. And that's why it's important. You know, there's some guys out here, I don't know what their former career was. You know, they were a school teacher or a carpenter or airplane pilot, whatever it is. That's besides the point. The point is that, you know, for me, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been in the coin business with my father since I could walk. I've been counting coins since I was 4 years old. My son has been going to school at Colorado State University for coins since he was 14. He'll be attending the major ANA World Fair of Money with me all week long, taking counterfeit courses. So by the time he is ready to be a professional dealer, he'll probably have more experience than most grown men who were car salesmen a week ago but put a sign up that says I'm a coin dealer. So you really should do your research on who you're working with when you're selling your coin collection. Because are they going to give you $200, $250 for the coin, or are they just going to lump it in with the rest of these at $50 a piece? You know, the more you know, right?
So now he's playing the angle all of a sudden of the honest dealer who recognizes rarity and scarcity and, you know, finer things, and is going to like pay up on it. Like that's kind of a bit of a curveball from everything that he's been talking about earlier about how he's paying 15% below wholesale to people no matter what, basically, and flipping it. Now, every time that he's kind of paused on any item, I want you guys to remember, anytime he's paused on an item, he's paused on an item that is a pretty rare, hard to find item of a decent quality. And so if you're curating your collection and you're doing it as like a long-term investment, you should probably be focused on items like that. Now, we do have a little bit more to go here. I'm not finished yet. But in light of what we're hearing, I'm going to follow up with what this guy says. This is completely satire and a joke for those of you that aren't going to understand this joke. I'm making a joke here. But guys, I have a lot of overhead in my life. I've been doing this like live stream for about 40 minutes now. I have lights on in the basement with me. I bought this computer about 15 years ago. I have a microphone. I'm raising my daughter. I took her out to dinner last night when I got back from working at a show. I got a lot of overhead, and so I appreciate, you guys could just give me some extra money because of my overhead. Anyway, if you don't get the joke, go back and watch the video. But yeah. Oh, also, I advertise my channel on Discord and YouTube premium subscription to avoid ads. So just want you guys to empathize with me because of all my overhead here. Also, I own my home. I built a golf simulator out back, and today I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 rounds on the golf simulator, and I could have been using that time to continue to build some of my businesses. So if you guys understand, with all my overhead, I would appreciate exactly Silver Serpent's got where I'm going. With all that overhead that I have, I would appreciate if you guys could help me out. It's, again, completely satire and joke. Let's get back to the video. Just wanted to do that.
These things are terrible. They're really pretty. They present well, but you're not going to get much more when you go to liquidate them. These 3-piece Kennedy sets,
expensive.
They sit and sit and sit.
Have you guys seen what
it's
a
really pretty.
500 Beowulf rifle costs? But I really want
for it, and I would dump it to anybody that wants to call $100. We get them all the time. Pretty piece again for like a whatnot show or an auction. You can see the retail price, $130. It's a fair price. I'm sure they're more expensive.
Bless your heart.
It's got a lot of lenses, right? So here's a $375 one. So the $425 one is a score of a 64. The $375 one is a score of a 63. Again, wholesale on these are $295. I can make one phone call and sell them all off for $295 to $300 a piece. $375 is a fair price. That's the price on everybody's table at any coin show I go to. We're trying to make a $50 to $75 spread.
Golf balls in the lake.
That's how it works.
Thank you.
Oh God. All right, so old ICG holders. This is the type of stuff that's on Whatnot. This is like a giveaway, okay? You're barely going to get above melt when you turn these in, but they sell all day long for $5, $10, and $15 a piece. So just know that these are the type of coins that you're going to get $1 a piece when you go to turn them in. But they're high profit for coin dealers, right? If I put this up in an auction, somebody can pay me $5, $10, $15 a piece. So they're great for that. Don't bother trying to look up a 1958D and a 64 and asking that you want $8
He's talking about all these like lower cost,
okay?
Coins
a regular
and stuff.
pocket change.
He doesn't care.
This is just pocket change that somebody put into an ICG holder. So ICG is great if you're in Whatnot because these are the giveaways from Whatnot shows. That's what this is. All of this. It's junk.
Giveaways for Whatnot shows.
That's what I'm saying in my head. We're almost done, believe it or not. I mean, this is a guy's lifetime collection, and I'm going to get through it here in like 30 minutes. How much time's on the clock right now?
I know, Warhammer, I know.
28, see? There you go. Mid-state 65. Doesn't rock my world. A lot of pretty... Look, this came in today. Okay?
Hey.
All right, look.
Hey, don't you dare.
Whatever condition, still AU, BU roll. There's plenty of rolls of stuff like this out there. Okay? This doesn't rock my world. We're asking 220. I think 100...
I'll be honest with you. I think he's completely dead wrong with this, and I've got a lot of the facts to back this up. There are not plenty of rolls of MS-65 walkers, even in the, what was this, 1943? I've been looking into, okay, so this was a 1943S PCGS MS-65, and he's saying that there's lots of rolls of these in MS-65. Can I take a second? You guys mind if I pause here real quick and like disprove this whole theory? Because this is where I think that you as a consumer need to make sure that you are spending your time educating yourself on stuff too. So let's just quick entertain yourself for just 1 second while I pull something up, and we're gonna look and diagnose this ourselves, because we don't want to be fed a bunch of BS in the morning. It's a Sunday morning, but get ready for church and stuff. We don't need to have time to eat this. Okay, let's go ahead and look. He said that there's rolls of this. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me pull this up. Let's just put proof to the pudding here. A 1943S. Okay, this is what he's talking about. The 1943S, correct? I'm just gonna look at the population report. In MS-65, which is what he's holding, in MS-65, this is PCG, right? So this is one of the, or PCGS, excuse me. This is one of like the largest grading companies that exist, okay? There are 3,298 coins of this entire mintage that has ever been graded by PCGS at the MS-65 range. Now, if we were to say, now if we were to take that and look at NGC, let's just double it. Let's just say NGC is like another 3,000. So there's 6,300 at MS65 that exist in the world that are known. So I call absolute BS that there are rolls of these like aplenty, because if there were, everybody would be grading every single coin in that roll, and they would be submitting them, and they would be getting them turned into this grade so that they could sell them from buying them, at $40, and they could be selling them for 110, because they'll sell at 110 all day long. In fact, I've seen sales for these up to 150 pretty consistently if it's a good coin. Let's go further. The MS66 there's only 967, and the MS67 is only 115. There are zero ever graded. There are zero graded that are 68, 69, or 70 that exist in the world. So don't try to tell me that you're an expert at coins and that your son is going to be more educated on this stuff than most grown men. If you're going to come out and tell me that there are rolls of Walking Liberty half dollars at the MS65 that are abundant, therefore you would barely even pay, above, or even barely pay market for this. I get it, but you're wrong on this one, the Vault Company. Anyway.
Still, AUBU roll. There's plenty of rolls of stuff like this out there.
There's plenty of rolls of stuff like this out there.
We're asking 220. I take 150. Call. We paid 100.
Take 150. He's asking 220.
You can't just look this up as a piece of silver.
There are not rolls of that shit out there. Okay, again, pardon my French, but you're just objectively wrong. Objectively wrong about that. There would not be 3,000 coins graded that way if there were rolls of those available.
Silver, you got to know what you're doing. All right. And again, the retail price on this 220. I would take 150. I paid 100. I don't feel bad about that. Maybe I'll move it today. Maybe I'll shoot a video in a month from now if you say I'm a crook because I only paid 100 for that, and it's still sitting here. You can
I'm
pay
not
my
saying you're a
bill?
crook.
Again, he's got a lot of... City, Mid-State 6.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to run it back, but this part. Hold on.
Maybe I'll move it today. Maybe I'll shoot a video in a month from now if you say I'm a crook because I only paid 100 for that, and it's still sitting here. You can pay my electric bill?
The animosity this guy has is almost unmatched. Like, he is so bitter. He's so bitter. And again, I agree with him on a lot of the stuff that he's saying, but man, he is so bitter. Are you going to pay my electric bill? F you and your electric bill. I don't care if you stay in business or go out of business. Like, that's on you to manage your expenses, right? That's on you to buy at what you can sell things for based on your market that you cultivate and grow over time and your customers. Maybe you don't have a lot of customers buying stuff because you buy stuff from them for too low and you sell stuff to them for too high. And maybe they are educated people that go to somewhere else to purchase stuff. And maybe that's why it sits on your shelf for a month. Maybe you've got it overpriced at 220 and you should be pricing it at 150 and maybe it would move faster. Again, that's not my problem. I don't care about your electric bills. Turn off your lights. Open less hours if you can't afford to be open. Like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? This is the Vault Company Silver Stacker. It should be in the description if it's not. I'll post it when I'm done.
83 Carson City, Mid-State 63, 275 is the buy
Don't
price.
let anybody tell me, are you going to pay my electric
That's
bill?
how tight it gets.
And expect me to have sympathy for you.
This is one of the coins
You're
that we
going
would
to pay my
for,
electric bill?
Okay, because it's got toning. This is the type of coin that dealers will fight over because it's got that pretty tone to it. All right, so this one I'm going to pay $200-300, whatever I need to, essentially, to get this coin because I do prefer the color. I do prefer the toning. ICG Morgan in the Mid-State 66, you got to treat it like it's a 65 and
The Vault Company.
Most dealers are going to think that way. They're going to buy that way. Brilliant uncirculated. All right, so it's just a regular AUBU Morgans. What do AUBU Morgans trade at right now with wholesalers? That's pretty. A PL 64, 575. That's one of our better coins. Another
64.
Another one, okay? But we paid $350 to get
These
it.
older Morgans
Call
and
me up right now and give me
64
$575. I bet you don't. Okay, I got $350 tied up in it. Times how many more coins? When do I get to make $100? $105 on that 62. That's pretty. Proof 67 Franklin from 54. It's an older. It makes me wonder.
A Proof 67 Franklin.
How far off am I?
No.
No.
You're
That's
way
proof,
off,
of course.
bro.
This is Mid-State, but that looks like a pretty nice roll.
No. That's see again. I'm gonna call this out again. This is BS again. I'm gonna call this out again, and here's why. Okay, this man is now comparing an exposed roll of Franklins to a PF 67 Franklin graded and authenticated by NGC, and he's saying I'm not too far off. And this guy is explaining to us how educated they are as coin dealers. This is absolute BS, and he knows it, and everybody else knows this. There are not nearly as many minted proof Franklins as there are circulating Franklins, right? It's a totally different category. It's a totally different category. Proof coins and circulation mint coins are two different categories with their two different mintages. A coin from a roll cannot be a proof anything, okay? Also, if you look, PF67, go look for yourself. Go look at the population reports on all of these, NGC, PCGS, whatever, CAC, ANAX, IC, I don't give a crap. Their PF67 is very high. 68 is like, I believe, honestly, 68 might be genuinely like some of the highest graded coins of the Proof Franklin series. So I'm just saying, if this guy wants me to believe that he's completely educated and sophisticated and has gone through all this training and all this courses and all this stuff, and he's gonna even dare think that he can show a roll of coins and talk about how he's not far off from a PF67 slab, that is either intentionally misleading or something else. Let's just say that.
That's the proof, of course. This is mint state, but that looks like a pretty nice roll. These guys here are very hard to move. These modern proof dimes and quarters
Modern
and
proofs,
pennies.
yeah, I wouldn't even do that.
Looks like it came from the proof set. Yeah, somebody took a 54 proof set,
get
took
it
it
graded.
apart.
Don't waste your time.
They did.
I
They got
agree
it all
with them
graded.
completely there.
That one's pretty. I like the new CAC holders. A lot of people like the CAC, and it's got some color to it. And we paid up for that one. We paid $195 for that one. And with that toning on it, we're probably asking a premium. More CAC. CAC should be an easy sell.
Holy crap, Sober. You
What we
guys are
got here?
going hard
Another
on
Carson
that
City,
tattoo,
another
huh?
78 Carson City.
You guys are going hard on that
We probably
tattoo.
paid $150.
It matches
asking
his
$250.
diamond and gold
There's another
bracelet.
Carson City. Again, I have to sell all of this.
I don't know this
gram,
guy. Again, I don't know this guy. I'm not trying to talk
purchase
bad about
price
this guy. I'm
121.
just trying to agree or disagree.
So I'm writing it down, you know. We paid a lot for this one. A 2021 in PCGS Mint State 70 Morgan Dollar 100th anniversary. This is an expensive
that's
coin.
nice.
We're asking $2,000 for this coin.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's a really
Here's
nice
an
coin.
85 Carson City. We're asking $675 for that one.
It's
Mint
not
State
graded.
62.
It's not graded. See right here. Okay, I'm gonna pull something out again. I'm taking his own words that he said in this video. I'm not trying to act like I know this guy, but this guy says that, you know, I don't want Mr. Magoo's estimated grade on my coin sticker. If he really thought, good morning, Teresa. I'll watch my language now that we have our ladies present. This is an 1882 Carson City. Great coin, cool. It does look like it's in a fairly nice condition. But the day Mr. Magoo writes on a sticker that it's an MS65, yet doesn't take the time to go grade it himself, like this guy probably gets bulk, you know, franchise rates to submit coins for grading if he wanted to. My experience is I never, ever, ever buy a coin like this ungraded raw based on somebody else's expectation of a grade and pay that premium. That's just me. You guys do what you want. But if he really believed that this was as a 65 1882, he would have submitted it and got it qualified at that level, and then would have relisted it for its actual real value.
Another cat coin there. 2021 CC Privy. Pretty coin. I don't even have a price on these, so I would just look these up on the gray sheet, and I would be paying at 80% of the gray sheet. Adding it all up, quantifying
80%
it
of
from
the
there.
gray sheet.
And we're pretty much done.
Dude.
I don't even have to look. Ikes in the plastic, Ikes in the lens, Ikes, $10 to $15 a
He
piece.
hates
If you want these at melt, if you want these at like $22 a piece, they're all yours. It's that fast, it's that easy. But remember
Holy
that the
cow,
retail price on
Warhammer,
this
you
is
guys
$40, and if you
are
looked it up, it's $50. And I'm a crook if I'm only paying 10. Good luck. Okay, that's all I got to tell you. These are pain in the ass, and I'm a crook if I.
Hold on, the animosity comes back again. This This guy has a lot of animosity, and I think it comes from probably YouTube. If I had to guess, honestly, he probably got some Whatnot stream comments, some Facebook group comments, and some YouTube comments that were pretty negative towards his pricing over the last 6 months, when he was probably offering way too low of market price because of his overhead. And he's a big business guy. Guys, he makes a lot of money and he's big business, so he deserves all the extra money from you. But again, the goal of this stream isn't to talk bad about this guy. The goal of the stream was to say, what can we take away as retail consumers that we can now use as kind of like, one in the chamber when we go shopping or we're looking for prices or trying to figure out what you're trying to buy. And you can understand now how not his, but like how an LCS's mind might work in terms of like large wholesale transactions of just buying and selling constantly. What can you take away from this? It's not to dog on this guy or his video. That's not the point. I know we are doing some of that, but there were some parts earlier, if you watched the whole stream, that I agree with him. And I think there were some great takeaways. And I think there's some honest feedback. But there's also some contradictions and there's some BS. And I just want to make sure that I'm giving, this is just my opinion. Hey, what's up, Dutch Murphy, everybody? John Shanks, how's it going? This is just my opinion on how I see things. I'm not trying to talk bad about this guy as an individual or what he's like, but you're going to tell me, again, that you're educated on certain things and then you're going to do objectively false information at the same time. I think it's worth bringing that kind of stuff. So anyway.
$15 a piece. If you want these at melt, if you want these at like $22 a piece, they're all yours. It's that fast. It's that easy. But remember that the retail price on this is $40, and if you looked it up, it's $50. And I'm a crook if I'm only paying $10. Good luck.
And I'm a crook if I'm only paying $10.
These are pain in the ass.
I mean, he's got so much animosity.
On a show. You have to then box it and package it and ship it. I will give this away. If you come to the vault and you watch this video, it's yours.
He got burned somehow by somebody.
Pocket change some way.
Maybe got a bad Google review or something on the store. He's really bitter.
They've packaged together. They threw some stamps on. They charge somebody 10 times more than it's really worth. If you bring it in, you're only going to get melt when it looks like that.
Oh, he said that earlier, and I completely agree with him. He said something like, actually was a really, really good point earlier. He said something like, the more fancy the packaging, the more you're probably getting screwed over on price. Something along those lines. I paraphrase. That's not a direct quote from him, but he said something like that. And I actually completely agree with him. Now, I've bought some of those super nice packaged things that are way overpriced because I wanted them in my collection. I thought they were cool. But I do agree with what he's saying, though. That like the more fancy packaging type stuff like that, the more you're paying for, like, again, marketing and materials and time of production, unless you're paying for the actual like value of the item. So they'll say they can only give you 15% less than wholesale pricing, but they'll sell it for full retail and shop. Most of them are crooks. Oki Organics. I mean, he again, I'm not even putting words in his mouth right there. He showed examples, Oki, of where he exactly was doing that in this video. So that's not even speculation on our part. He literally said that he was buying 15% below wholesale, marking it up to full market retail value, and then that he would accept like less than that if somebody made the offer, right? Buy the coin, not the package. 100% John Shanks. Always purchase the coin, not the plastic numbers and letters on the plastic, right? Look at the coin. And I will say this real quick, if I can do a quick aside before we finish up here. That's one reason why I'm actually not a huge fan of NGC slabs. Okay, I prefer PCGS more than anything, but I'm almost to the point where I would prefer an ICG slab over an NGC slab. But the reason is because you cannot see the edge of a coin in an NGC slab. The opaqueness of the packaging is so close to the edge of the coin that you can't get a good look of the quality of the edge of the coin. Whereas PCGS, you've got more exposed and you've got a clear look at it, so you can see if there's chipped damage, dings, toning, stuff like that. So just in talking about slabs, that's just my aside here. Let's go ahead and finish this up, and then we're gonna hit up a couple of the comments, and then we'll kind of finish up for the day. Maybe 10 minutes more.
The silver dollar fruit set, another lens, modern commemoratives. Okay, I can't say this strongly enough on the modern commemoratives.
Modern commemoratives. He's not a fan of this stuff. Really pretty coins, dime a dozen, extremely hard to sell. When I go to some of my wholesalers, the reason they're extremely hard to sell is because everybody has them, right? There's millions and millions and millions of these minted.
And modern,
you know what I'm saying? So
two different categories, proof and
I understand
DD.
what he's saying with this stuff.
Okay?
If you're buying this stuff, you're just buying it as a collector,
you're paying
not as
$46 a piece. You're going to get $40 a piece.
A value
okay?
investor.
That's it. What is that type of a profit margin? 46 minus 15%? Not even. So I'm making a 12% profit margin. If you bring me a modern commemorative, I'll give you $40 a piece. I'm going to sell them for 46, but I'm not
Guys, how's
really
he
going to
gonna
get
pay his
46.
electric
I
bill
still
if
have
he's
to
only
pay the
making
shipping. I have to still
12%?
pay the insurance, and I have to pay the employee and the
I
overhead.
have to pay the insurance, the employees, the overhead. Does anybody feel sorry for him yet because of all of his overhead for his shop? Now, again, he's not saying it as in like, woe is me. What he's trying to say, to give him the benefit of the doubt here, is he's trying to explain that coin shops cannot give you top dollar for your items because they have to make a margin to be able to stay in business so that they can continue to purchase from you and to sell items and stuff like that. So I don't think he does a very good job of articulating that, and oftentimes when he tries to articulate that, he also ties it in with like that animosity type stuff of like, oh, you're gonna complain and bitch and moan on the internet if I do this or that or this or that, but you don't complain when I hold the bag at $90 an ounce, right? Like I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt. I just don't think he explains why he keeps bringing up the overhead in the right way. I would have done it a totally different way. But that's what he's trying to say. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt.
So there you go, right? You sell these, you're going to get $40 a piece. I might get to net $4 a piece on these.
Silver, he's talking about the
$75.
$40 coins, not the $120 coins.
That's how it works. So when you're liquidating,
he's talking about a different coin.
you're wholesaling essentially, except for if it's a really pretty, better date piece with some color that we're going to fight over for something like that, or a little bit of a rarer date. But 95% of this collection, except for maybe 5 coins out of all this, is common stuff that is going to get wholesaled. So you're going to...
Okay, you got to pay attention to that. He pulled out like 5 coins. Remember what he said there. He's basically... most of this stuff is just common stuff. What he means by that is like it's common dates, meaning high mintage items that there's plenty of them available in the world. They are a common grade, meaning that they're not very high up on the population report. If you need me to show you again an example of that, this is a population report. And so you can look at the parabola happening here, right? Let's look at this 43 Philly, 1,062. The reason there's not very many in 60, 61, 62 is because nobody's going to waste their time grading coins like that. They grade what they believe are going to be like 66 plus. And so what happens is sometimes they land at 63 because they don't know how to grade, or 64 or 65, whatever, right? Grader bias, whatever it is. But you see how it goes 3,400, 8,800, 9,200. You can see that that's the top of the parabola. You guys with me? You guys following? So the most common grades for the 1943 Philly, of which there's probably, 15 million minted. There's not that many left because of melting and stuff, but you get the point. There's 9,000, 9,500, and then it dips off hard. It dips off hard to 66. 66 would be above average, not common, above average. So that would probably catch his eye. That would stand out as one of those 5%ers that's like worth more time and attention. Now, he'd probably tell you it's not. He'd probably tell you that he's got rolls of those in his safe, it sounds like. Anyway, now I'm deviating from my point, but 67s are super rare, very valuable. And a 68 is top of the line, best of the best, is going to demand significant pricing. Like that's when you're getting into the thousands and thousands of dollars, right? So that's the part, like kind of like understanding this is very important when somebody's telling you that. So notice he's pulling out 4 or 5 coins. It's because they are on the higher end of the population reports, meaning they're more rare. They don't come across his desk as often. And they are dates of which the mintage is lower, so that's even harder to get those good grades. Okay, that's kind of what the explanation is there if you're not familiar with it.
To get below wholesale because we're not going to take the risk for it to drop.
We're not
I
going
hope
to
that helped. I hope that was educational. I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to tell you how it really is. Because some people want to enjoy collecting and they enjoy the hobby and they enjoy adding to their set, but at the same time, they're hoping that this is something that can leave to their children that's an investment. So invest wisely, know what you're doing. Brian at the Vault & Co.
Okay, Brian at the Vault Co. Again, this is not about, I'm gonna go through some of the comments too because I think they're interesting, but this is not about picking on Brian. Okay, I disagree with some of the points. I called out some of what I thought were BS points. I don't have much sympathy for his overhead. Again, he's just explaining why a coin dealer would offer you the prices that they're offering because they're trying to make certain amount of margin so that they can afford to run their business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, it's part of it. That last part was actually a really good point from him. Collecting is like a passion. Hey, what's going on, Emarine? Collecting is something that you do typically like as a passion and for fun, and but you're at the same time in your mind, you're tricking yourself into believing that its value and worth is what you paid for it, or it's what the current open market is paying for it. And now that is true That is true if you take the time to build up, like, let's say, an online business or your own website where you sell your own coins, or you shop, you sell through eBay or whatnot or something like that. So he's saying, like, yes, there is a way that you can do it where you basically now you are operating as sort of the coin shop and you're paying your fees, right? So he's saying that there is a way to do that. But if you're going to try to get like a wholesale buyer like him, that the value is going to be significantly less than what you probably believe it as. So he's saying invest wisely, and he's being right. Like, that's why, if you're buying coins for investments, you probably should be buying, again, if we're looking at the population type reports, you should be buying, up here in these 1938s, right? You go to the 1938D where there's like, look how few are graded. You're probably buying 66s and 67s of the 1938D. You're probably also going to be paying $50,000 for this coin, but it's going to hold its value more than, say, if you come down here and you're buying, a VG25 or something. That, maybe a VG25 is more affordable, but these are the coins that are going to like draw their attention and make them want to do it, right? You get what I'm saying? 1921 series right here, 1921 super low pops. Look at this. The 1921 series, guys, there's nothing even above a 66. So just getting an MS65 will probably cost you $100,000, and an MS66 top of the line date will probably get you $250,000 to $500,000 depending on the auction and who's buying it, right? So that's his point. Okay, is what you're doing. So again, I'm not trying to. Anyway, I like the video actually. I really like the honesty. I like what's going on here. Some of the comments are funny. I'm just gonna take a second. Go back and watch it all. Oh, wait, something happened. You will cancer test tomorrow, Tuesday. Real quick, let's take a second out here. I'm gonna get caught up on some of this chat because I just saw something more serious than coin collecting and value. My daughter's gonna have so much. I'm teaching her about coin collection. Now she's 10, sort of into it. That's awesome, John Shanks. That's very cool. And then John, you said you are going to test for cancer Tuesday. Yeah, God bless you, dude. Prayers with you. I hope that if there is something, it's benign, or you're catching it in such early stages that the treatment process is super quick and easy and successful. Yeah, so prayers with you, dude. Hope you're gonna do well with that. I'm sorry to hear that, especially with the young daughter and stuff. That's tough, man. So we're wishing you the best there. That's way more important than laughing at some comments and talking about coin values and LCSs. So wishing you the best, dude. And thanks for being here, by the way. All right. It's hard to transition from that over to this. Like that got me sad just thinking about it, dude, because my daughter is actually 12. So that hit me really close to home on that one. So best of wishes. If we can even transition, if not, we'll just end the stream there. But you got stage 3. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, definitely wishing you the best, dude. Hope the treatment. I don't know how that treatment's gonna go, but esophagus that sounds tough, man. That's tough. Wishing you the best, dude. Yeah, guy destroyed silver collectible market in less than 40 minutes. It's hard to laugh now. not in a bad way. Like, it's hard to laugh at some of this stuff because some of these comments are pretty funny, but man, I'm thinking about you. I'll be thinking about you and praying for you, dude. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of it from the community that's on the channel right now. Great work showing the average person that buys coins what you should go through to acquire and resell. I do agree with that. Like, you have to take away from this. You have to think to yourself, what as a buyer should I be now? Like how should I negotiate with a store? What is a reasonable offer to a store now? Right? Think about stuff like that. Our guy Emperor Wang, I love it. I love seeing the people in the community here. This guy is why you sell peer-to-peer, folks. 100%. Serpents, if you're still hanging out there. Yeah, there, I see you popped up in here. Serpents, if you're still here. Yeah, absolutely. When you're buying like that super specialized, beautiful collection like you've got, dude, and I love your collection. I love the colored Libertads. I think they're beautiful. But this is why you sell peer-to-peer. And to do that, some of you guys probably need to start doing this now if you haven't already. I mean, the internet's a free and wonderful world to run a business. You start building up an eBay store, right? TFT's got an eBay store selling American-made knives. If you guys are into American-made knives, go check out TFT Ant of Egypt's eBay store. But yeah, you start building up an eBay store. You start building up a peer-to-peer network, whether that's through a forum group or a Reddit group or whatever. You start establishing that stuff before you need it, okay? So that you've got the history built up and you've got the credibility built up. So then when you do need to offload some of your items, you've already got the credibility, the store built up, the trust, you know how to package, you know how to ship, you know how to, respond to comments, all that kind of stuff. You've got that, you build that up early so that when you can do that. This is hilarious. Southeast stacking and collecting. Again, another friend of the friendo of the community. Now I see why every slab is all scratched up. Absolutely, that absolutely had me cracking. That had me cracking up here. That had me cracking up because you saw how he was handling all those damn slabs, and he's 100% right. How many have you bought like a beautiful coin? How many of you have bought a beautiful coin, really well graded, in a nice slab, and the slab is just absolute crap? It's got like dings, it's got scratching, you know, but you know it's not on the coin, it's on the slab, but you like that sucks because then you're like, I don't want to pay to get it cross graded because it could also get a lower grade. You know, like there's a world in which they actually grade it lower than what it currently is because like maybe they found something now that they couldn't see back when it was graded. 100% had me dying when I read that comment. Now I see why every slab is all scratched up. The dude would just stack slabs and throw them in his box, and like 100, you know, again, you know, if he's doing it that way, that there are other LCSs doing it that exact same way. So funny stuff there. Our boy Blue Collar, very honest video. My one beef is don't tell me it's dog crap when I want to sell, and then tell me it's chocolate ice cream when I'm buying the exact same piece. This is a little bit harsh, but you're a used car salesman at that point. I don't think he's talking about Brian, but I think he's just talking about it in general. Sometimes you shouldn't show how the sausage is made just saying, okay, funny, I like it, I do agree with it, but okay, the point is, for this, what I took away from Blue Collar Stacker here, and again, another friend of the community, I support what he's doing, and he runs shows too. Like, so again, I'm not against whatnot sellers. I think that you gotta have some conscience when you're doing it. But my only beef with this comment actually is that a lot of the ways whatnot streamers build up hype to sell stuff that they know is an average common thing, and they're trying to get maximum value for it, is they do this tactic. And in fairness, I haven't participated in anybody on here's whatnot streams, but what I have seen in the past when I used to is people will hype up things that they're got coming up, and they'll hype up coins that are on auction, trying to encourage bidders, acting as if, oh, this is a super fine variety of the MS63, blah, 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 or look how clean this one is. This one could probably grade really, really well. That's a tactic that they use to get people to bid on something that may not even be truthful, fully truthful. So I would hope that if you're criticizing something like this in a video, that you yourself are not partaking in the action of buying something for a lower price and then drumming it up as something it's not to entice buyers to spend more than what the coin is worth. And my opinion is, again, part of the reason why I don't participate in those types of emotional, impulse-driven auction sites is because that I see that practice happen a lot, and I avoid it personally. But you know, whatever, everybody can shop where they want. But I would hope that, you know, Blue BCS, if you're listening, if you watch this, I hope that you're not somebody who's participating in that same kind of scheme on your store that would be criticizing somebody else of. It's excellent show. It's amazing how much people lose buying mint products, proof sets. Yeah, I got a big takeaway from that too. Like, the more the packaging, the more you're paying for something, and the more if it's like a personal collection versus like an investment premium type object, probably makes sense. This one's good. Yeah, this video will save a lot of young investors, collectors from making huge mistakes. I do agree. That's why I actually like the video, is because as much as we might dislike some of the things that were said and some of the examples that were given, as much as we may dislike that, the reality is that like you as a buyer, as a retail buyer, you have to understand what is in their mindset, and then you understand a little bit of more leverage that you have for negotiating pricing that you see on the retail front. Hey, what's going on, Red Cloud? Thanks for stopping in, dude. Yeah. No, again, I'm not. I didn't want that to come off as like I'm not trying to say anything like that. I'm just saying the broader point of like, I see that practice happens on whatnot. I'm 100% not saying that our boy BCS or anything's doing like that. I wouldn't even know. I don't even attend the auctions, so I don't know. Yeah, average Jane could sell thermal underwear in Hades. Yeah, if you're a likable person and you can build up a big following, you know, people will buy to support. But again, my point is always just don't overspend. Don't overspend. One of these was good. If there was a few, okay. Here we go. Here we go. This is a good common takeaway too that I saw a lot of people say, and then I'm probably gonna end it on this one. You are exactly the reason I tell everyone I've ever known to never, ever, under any circumstance, take your coins to a coin dealer to sell. Take the time to find other collectors or dump them on eBay. Your customers are not coin collectors. They are dealers and speculators. Coin collecting, as we knew it growing up, is dead because of dealers like you. Very harsh. I don't think coin collecting is dead. I think that there was an unreasonable expectation that everybody would always give fair market value on things. And I just don't think that's reality. I think that never has been reality. I think that that was a facade that people tell themselves to make them feel better about their purchases. If you want to get full market value, you're going to have to go to a coin show and you're going to have to pay for a table fee and take the whole day out of your, take your whole day, and you're going to have to try to sell coin by coin by coin by sitting on inventory for months and months and months. And in fairness to what Brian was saying up here, in fairness to Brian at the Vault and Company, what he is saying is that he doesn't have the time to sit on stuff for a year or months to try to sell one or two here or there. That's his point. So if you want to get your full fair value, you are going to have to sell peer-to-peer. You're going to have to sell on auction sites. You're going to have to sell to other collectors and interested parties that want that particular coin. And you're going to probably sit on that inventory for a very long time. So that I think that just to be fair there. So anyway, I just want to go over all that again. This whole purpose of this was not to be negative or disrespectful toward Brian and the Vault Company. They're running their business how they want to run their business. You guys can patronize, whatever stores you want. I just think it was a window into understanding the mindset. I think he was very brutally honest. I think he was almost too honest in some situations. But we got to respect and appreciate people taking the time out to show what they're thinking. Whether we agree or disagree, let's at least show the respect that, like, hey, he came out here and he put it out there around how he runs his business and his mindset. And you can do things your own way, and however, maybe go start your own LCS and see if it works by being super fair and offering above wholesale pricing and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't run an LCS. Yeah, I do agree with that, Warhammer. If you want to flip quick, you got to tighten your margins. You can't be trying to get 100% premium on the sell side and then offering a negative 15% back of wholesale on the buy side. You're probably going to detract from your customer base quite a bit there. And it's especially the more and more people kind of hear about that and find out about that, more and more people are probably going to want to shop there less. So, God bless you, John. Hope you're doing well. Everybody, thank you so much, man. We had a great crowd today. Great feedback, great conversations. Hope you understand. If you haven't watched the full video, go back and watch it, because there were some things that we talked about early in the video. There were a lot of things that I actually thought were really good takeaways and that I agreed with. Again, the purpose here was to be kind of like sort of unbiased, balanced kind of understanding of my takeaway and my opinion on this stuff through my 25 years dealing in different types of markets and studying this types of stuff, studying markets, and trying to do my best to kind of bring knowledge and information to the community in my own weird, unique, probably asshole-ish type way. That's why we do it. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a wonderful Sunday. Go out there, go to church, take your family to lunch, call your mom or a friend or relative, tell them you love them and that they're great, and make somebody's day today. I'll see you guys on the next time. Also, thank you for all the new subscribers, all the new, thank you as well for the $2 super chat during my my overhead plea. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Have a great one. Bye.